Best of 5. Boom. We got it just in time. Place your bets, people. It is the rematch. But a rematch where one of our players is already leading this series because he came from the upper bracket, from the winner's bracket. But here we have the contender looking for that revenge, representing Team GP and from the land of Mexico. It is Cham. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the Canadian Protoss player representing Alpha X, currently leading this series. It is TriGGeR. Beautiful, yes. Hashtag rigged in the chat. Or in Spanish, hashtag arreglado in the chat, if you will. It's all rigged, mate. It's all weighted. The raffle was weighted in favor of TriGGeR. Aye. But yes, it is random, by the way. Again, anyone can win the raffle. If you're a finalist or you know, anyone else like Carlitos or White Idra or anyone. Oh, but we are now in the grand finals in this series, and TriGGeR, going for a bit of a sneaky probe scout, does confirm that it is a hatch gas pool opening. Nothing too crazy coming out from El Chamaco. And I am honestly shocked. We're on Romanticide, people. We're on Romanticide. The largest map in the map pool. The most SkyToss friendly map in the map pool. You can make some arguments for Jagannatha, I guess, kind of. Maybe some arguments for 2000 atmospheres, but Romanticide is goddamn good. You can very easily get up to 3 bases, get a 4th base up and running as well, turtle up, and get your carriers up and running. I am shocked that Cham let this through the vetoes. I have to imagine Cham's gonna go for a queen walk, right? But even then, pushing up a ramp? Like, what is Cham's plan? That is the question. Oh. I'm assuming he's saying oh because I don't know why. I missed it. If something happened, I missed it. I was assuming, especially because he was targeting the Overlord at the time, the timing of the Stargates and that. Like that's what I was assuming that it was. But you know, maybe someone in the chat can have a little bit more revelation on that. Meanwhile, the Adept is looking to shade in. Wait, hold on. I was like, did something go down? The Adept does confirm the 3rd base timing for Cham. Nothing crazy going on once again. You know, it's just a 3rd base. We do, of course, eventually have this Stargate opening from TriGGeR. Cham goes in, he scouts, confirms that it is a Void Ray, and it is the Stargate. Shock, horror, surprise, right? TriGGeR's going for SkyToss. Again, my eyes are on Cham. Oh, he actually commits to the shade. 2 Adepts do get in, and immediately they snipe 2 of the drones. Ay. But at the cost of their lives. 2 drones for 2 Adepts. Is that a good trade? You could argue that the Adepts also got some scouting. I guess he confirmed that no additional gases were taken. I guess, but I don't know. I don't know about that one. Hard to say. Oh my god, Cham stands for Chamo. Cham is actually his name. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Cham is his it's like he's like Cham Blanco, I think. Chamaco Blanco. But yeah, it is a part of his IRL name. Fun fact. I believe it's part of his last name, because I think his first name is Pablo, if I'm not wrong. I could be wrong. Wikipedia has all the answers. Meanwhile, yep, there's the second Stargate. Oh boy. And I'm worried for Cham, because the creep spread honestly isn't that impressive. The queen count isn't that impressive either. Lair is on the way. What this tells me is, TriGGeR was trying to be a little bit cheeky with that stasis ward, is that Cham isn't necessarily going for a big aggressive push. And we get confirmation because he takes 2 more gases with said lair. This is a lot of gas to work with. And he doesn't have any, I was about to say he doesn't have any Evo chambers. There we go. Now we finally do have an Evo chamber, so we can commit to the upgrades for the roaches. I'm feeling Spire again. I wouldn't be opposed to Hydras, but I am, I guess the Evo chamber says Hydras, right? Because it could be +1 range. Meanwhile, TriGGeR's being a little bit annoying. He does delay the 4th base a little bit longer as the drone was focused down. The lair will finish and show us that Hydra den. Oh my god. What? What is happening? What is happening? It's not a Spire. It's not a Hydra den. It is straight up Infestation Pit. Interesting. Meanwhile, in come the Void Rays, looking to try and deny the 4th base. Thankfully, the Queens are in position. They do push away the Void Rays, keep the 4th base safe and sound for now. At the same time, Oracle does hit the 3rd, trying to get a couple of drone kills. I believe he got 1 drone kill, but only 1. But the Oracle does survive to live another day. And we'll see what this Infestation Pit is for. I kind of want to say Infestor. But we'll see. As a Spire gets thrown down behind this, so obviously whatever comes from the Infestation Pit is going to be a supportive unit for the Corruptors. Hive hasn't started yet. We'll see what comes of this, as yeah, things are now starting to piece together, as Cham himself is able to see what is up against, as we have a commitment into the Void Rays, and now we have 4 Stargates for TriGGeR. Like, this is the disgusting thing about Romanticide. We were talking about it before. We were talking about it before, where Romanticide is the map for Skytoss. You can get a 3rd base easily, you can get a 4th base pretty easily as well, and now you make nothing but Skytoss, nothing but carriers. This is the greediest we have seen TriGGeR, because usually we see TriGGeR with 3 Stargates and we see Disruptors, or we see Charge Dots, we see something else with them. No, this time, pure carrier. Oh boy, pure Skytoss, I should say. So, Cham is getting ready for the late game. I am surprised that this has happened. He didn't go for an early push. He's getting a 5th base, he's spreading creep, he's going to be working on spores, he's working on upgrades. He has accepted that this is going to the late game and he wants to meet it there. Okay, Cham. You've got my attention. We're going to have Corruptors, we're going to have Queens to transfuse. This is reminiscent of Game 1 in their previous series. We ended up in a similar scenario. Is the Hive done? The Hive is done. We're waiting for Vipers right now. There's the Spore Forest. Yeah, like, it takes a lot of balls to do this. If you're Cham. He's being so greedy. Greater Spire already? I think it's too soon. Like, Cham is spending all his money on tech. He is giving up the map to TriGGeR. He's like, you can expand, you can do whatever you want. I don't care. I'm going to just do my own thing. And that's a scary thing to do. To be fair, like, how are you going to stop a Protoss on Romanticide from expanding, right? So it's understandable. But again, like, there's just so much money in tech. Like, an Ultra Cavern on top of the Greater Spire, on top of Adrenal Glands. It's so risky to do this. Thankfully for Cham, TriGGeR isn't maxed out yet. He hasn't pushed out yet. If TriGGeR pushed out now, I think he could probably just kill Cham. Depending on where he pushes, because we have all the spores here, right? Like, this is where Cham wants to fight. If TriGGeR pushed in towards the north, or even towards the south, it's a bit of a different story. But here we go. The Spore Forest has been revealed. How is TriGGeR going to engage? One, he avoids the Spore Forest. Good move so far. We have a little bit of we have like a Spore Park over here towards the south. It's not that great for Cham. He's got a couple more spores on the way, but Cham is able to just barely hold on. He's got Queens for transfuse. Oh, but they're a little bit out of position. Oh my god, speaking of out of position, god, these Void Rays, they need to be here to help protect these carriers. The Corruptors, they dive in, they try to get a carrier, but they do not get it. Oh my god, the spores need to be repositioned. They're not here, and a bunch of queens go down. And Corruptors. Oh god, things are not looking good here for Cham. He's sustaining so many losses. And again, like, he had such a good position over here towards the north, but like, he just doesn't have the spores here. Queens are falling, spores are falling. There's no answer to these Void Rays. And TriGGeR, he's just pushing on forward, just asserting himself here. The hatchery will fall. And Cham can't stop this. He just can't. Where are the Vipers? The hive was done long ago, and this man went up to Ultras and Greater Spire. Like, it's just, he was so greedy, so greedy. And here we go, like, the mass supply block. So many Overlords have just gone down. Cham deep in the red. GG gets called. GG. I can see some people in the chat here. Roach Ravager Infestor. That's another composition that you can go for if you wanted to hit early on. Nidus and Cham's speciality. You are not wrong. El Mundanito, you are not wrong. Specifically when it comes to Nidus play, like, I've seen Cham in this matchup go like Nidus Swarm Host quite often, but that was last year, before current meta. So yeah, it can be difficult to pull stuff like that off, and Cham wanted to embrace the late game. He did what many people fear to do, and they fear it for a reason. Like, looking at your opponent and being like, yo, let's go late game against a Protoss, it's crazy. It's crazy, and we see why. To be fair, Cham, like, if they fought over the spores, he was set up well, but TriGGeR found the weak point in the defenses of Cham, avoided the majority of the spores. Ooh, feels bad, man. Feels bad. And here we go, spawning in the top right hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the Mexican Zerg player. He is blue, representing Team GP. Currently down 0-2 in this series. He needs to bring it back here and now. It is Cham. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres, we have the Canadian Protoss player, the North American player himself, representing Alpha X. It is TriGGeR. What a game. What a game one. The supply block was the icing on the cake. Like, the game was already over by then. Like, again, unfortunately, Cham, like, spent so much resources on that tech, right? There were no spellcasters, there were no infestors, there were no vipers. Very similar thing happened in game one of the previous best of 3 that they had. We'll see how Cham approaches this. Pretty standard opener, hatch gas pool, all pretty standard. Is he gonna try and go again to the late game? Is that what he wants? You can do that on 2000 Atmospheres as well, I guess. It all depends on how confident Cham feels with his all-ins, right? Whether it's a Roach Ravager Queen push, whether it's a Hydra timing with +1, whether it's Roach Ravager Infestor. Like, there are certain timings that you can hit. But the thing is that a player like TriGGeR, because he loves going Skytoss so much, he knows how to turtle. And he knows how to turtle well. Like, it's so risky to try to go for an all-in when you're up against a player like TriGGeR, who's on point with his scouting and ready to just throw down shield batteries and cannons and just defend, you know? It's just disgusting. Oh boy. Alright, here we go. Stargate. It begins. It begins, but it doesn't have to end like this. It does not like this. Not like this. You know, we'll see what Cham has to offer here. You know, again, nothing too special. We're droning up, we're getting our third base, we're getting queens. Everything is pretty standard so far from Cham. We have seen him go Hydras in the past, on this map specifically, and it can work. It definitely can work. We've seen him try and go for early Spire as well, for early Corruptors. He's got options. He's got options, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Meanwhile, TriGGeR also has options, but like, why not just go Sky Toss again? Mate, you're so good at it, just keep doing it. Just one of those things. Oh boy. As the game is slowly getting underway here, we do have a scout from Cham. Cham confirms that it is a Stargate opening. Surprise, Shulkara, right? Oh my god. It's a Void Ray. Never would have expected that. And now Cham can prepare. What I will say is that Cham's early game defenses are pretty good when it comes to his queens, when it comes to, you know, minimizing damage from this Oracle. Like, it was very impressive on Romanticide. He didn't lose many drones at all. If you recall, he lost a single drone to this Oracle. It was very impressive. His queen positioning was also on point, always there at his fourth base when he needed them to defend it and make sure he got it up and running. Meanwhile, we got the famed link spread of Cham. Does send them across, does take control of the towers. Oracle does go across the map and does avoid those watchtowers for now, headed towards the third base or the natural. It looks like he may be able to get one of the transferring drones. Oh, does get one. Ooh, gets two. Pretty good damage already. Keeps the Oracle alive and does confirm the Evo Chamber and the Roach Warren. What I will say is that this is a very different opener from Cham. Same production buildings, but his gases seem to be a little bit later this time. He is still getting all of them, as well as a lair, so he could still be going for a Spire. But again, slightly different. He droned up quite a bit more before that happened. And we'll see if it is for that Spire. If we do see +1 range, I want to say Hydras, but because we haven't seen this Evo Chamber used for anything, it should be a Spire. Of course, last game we saw an Infestation Pit, which was like a little bit more out of left field. So we have a couple of Adepts harassing, you know, doing what they can. And with that lair done, it is that Infestation Pit again. Are we going to see a repeat? Is this, he's plays +1 carapace. So far, this is exactly the same as Romanticide. Oh, we actually have a second Infestation Pit on the way as well. Hopefully Cham realizes that you don't need two. Or does he need two? What can we do with two Infestation Pits? We can work on Pathogen Glands and we can work on Neural, right? Is this intentional? Can't be. We'll see as the Infestation Pit finishes up. So does the second, and instead of upgrades, we have a Hive. Ugh. I was hoping maybe it was like a big brain move from Cham, but instead a little bit of a mistake. Meanwhile, oh my god, the Void Rays do focus down the hatchery. This time it was not a kill though. Cham does cancel in time. Even though the queens were here in position, TriGGeR just didn't even care. He had the angle, he did focus it down, and now I am scared. Why am I scared? Because this isn't Romanticide. TriGGeR just went full Sky Toss and went like 4 Stargate carrier production on Romanticide, because you can pull that off on a map like that. This time he's going Charger Archon. He is going to hit much harder, much faster, and that's what I'm worried about. If Cham is too greedy again, and if he throws down a Spire and a Greater Spire and an Ultra Cabin and all this stuff, like, he's just not gonna have an army to survive against the push. Thankfully, we don't see a Spire already, so we're not going to see a Greater Spire. I'm very curious as to what this... Oh, no, there it is. There is that Spire. I feel like a little bit mistimed as the Hive is about to finish up. But yeah, if Cham isn't careful, like, the army is going to roll him over. Like, he needs an army to contend with what TriGGeR is working on. And the first thing that Cham makes are Vipers. Good start. Ultras? Oh, God. Okay. +1 is on the way. Archons are being morphed in. Zealots are being morphed in. We are waiting for the War Prism to pop out. War Prism just popped out. And TriGGeR is going across the map. And Cham, he's working on a Spore Forest, a Spire, and an Ultra Cavern. He misread the situation. He hasn't scouted his opponent. He thinks it's Skytoss, and it's not Skytoss. Okay, thankfully he's morphing in a bunch of Banelings. Thankfully. Oh my god. As a reaction, he is getting those Banelings up and running. He has roaches. Can he hold on with these Banelings? I think he can, and TriGGeR pulls back. Oh, thank god. And Cham is getting away with this. Greater Spire is now on the way. Like, TriGGeR's gonna make something happen with this army soon. Oh, and the Roach Ravager from Cham is just going to be enough. Not just Roach Ravager, but the Vipers as well. They can abduct the Disruptors. First Disruptor shot goes off, and it does connect with the Banelings. We have some Parasitic Bombs on the Void Rays. The Banelings are rolling in. The Roaches are just pouncing upon the army. And oh my god, Cham just swats this away. And this is perfect for Cham. Why is it perfect? He defended with this Roachling Bane, and he has so much tech. Ultras are on the way. Kindness Plating is halfway done. We're going to see some Broodlords if we're at some point as well, because why not? Cham? Cham? Look, I'm trying to hype you up, buddy. I'm trying to hype you up, and you do this. God damn it, Cham. Other than killing his own natural, he's got so much to work with. He will have the superior army once he maxes out. He needs to get rid of these roaches though. These roaches are kind of becoming dead supply. They are going to be useful in this defense though, as the first Ultra comes out. Oh my god, the Transfusers keep it alive though. The Ultra just doesn't die. Purification Novas are whipping as well. They do not find any connections whatsoever. Two of them don't connect. Oh my god, but that one does a beautiful Purification Nova on those roaches. That one Ultra though, again, just doesn't die. It's beautiful. The Queens, you got its back. And Cham defends. Oh. Jesus Christ. Oh boy. Cham, he holds on, and now he's ready. He's got his Ultras, he's got his Queens, he didn't lose anything. Sure, he lost the natural, sure, but he didn't lose any drones, which is the important part. He's got a Greater Spire, he's working on his upgrades, he has everything that he needs. He just needs to refine his army, really. Like, again, get rid of some of these roaches, you know? They take up so much supply so he can get more Corruptors out. Disruptors get caught out, oh my god, two of them go down for free. Oh, TriGGeR falling apart a little bit. At the same time, though, he goes for a big Zealot run by. There are only Lings to defend. These Lings will not survive against these Zealots. And now drones are finally falling. Ultras do meet up, and they will clean this up. But these Zealots did pay for themselves. Nicely done there by TriGGeR, going for that multi-prong harass. Meanwhile, he's working on his own army. But this is not the best position to be in. This time, he doesn't have any Void Rays. They all got taken out earlier. He's got carriers, but he doesn't have a lot to protect them. He has a couple of Archons. Archons are great, but he's gonna need more than that. Oh my god! The Purification Nova is just, oh, everything just melts. It's all dead. What happened? Oh, the Roaches go down, the Ultras as well. The Queens were not here to support and transfuse the Ultras. And now it's go time for TriGGeR. To be fair, Cham wanted to get rid of those Roaches to make room for Broodlords, but not like that. Not for free. Ooh, thankfully for Cham, TriGGeR doesn't pull the trigger. He doesn't go for the base when he could have. These Broodlords, which he had eyes on, were completely out of position. They're so slow as well, like they would not have been able to respond and defend the space on the left-hand side. But TriGGeR, he didn't go for it. He was feeling a little bit nervous because he saw those Broodlords. He backs off in the end. And that means that, again, Cham gets away with it. He gets away with losing all that army and morphing in those Broodlords at a less than ideal time. Meanwhile, that Zealot run by hits again. It's just going to take out a bunch of spores. Not the biggest of deals. Okay, now he gets into the middle line. Now damage is finally being done. In comes the rest of the army. What I will say is that thankfully TriGGeR was able to scout these Broodlords earlier, and the Broodlords, they're kind of split up here. They're not all where they need to be. They're not all in one place where TriGGeR is looking to push in. TriGGeR is supplementing his army with Void Race to help deal with those Broodlords. Does he have the ideal army? I think he has too many Disruptors, to be honest, but we'll see. As the Purification Novas go off, again, these Disruptors, they do need to be traded out for something else. More Archons would be ideal. More Archons, more Void Rays, more High Templar. Oh, but TriGGeR has to be careful. He doesn't want to lose too much too fast. Same time, Cham looking to try and harass some of these bases. I feel like these fringe bases could do with some more stack defense. Sure, there's 4 cannons and a shield battery, 2 shield batteries. There could be more here, I feel. Hey, you gotta put the turtle in turtle toss, you know? The game is slowing down once again. TriGGeR can't really push in, and Cham is just getting every single upgrade in existence. 2/2 for his flyers, for his corruptors, +3 for his ultras. He's getting a really nice army with these, with everything, right? Vipers, corruptors, ultras, broodlords. It's beautiful. But everything needs to be together, you know. At the moment, he is kind of spread a little bit thin. It's going to be all about the engagement, all about the dance as well, bearing in mind that there are plenty of High Templar here for Storm. Not just Storm, but for feedbacks as well. If somehow these High Templar can get the feedbacks up before the fight happens, then things are going to be disastrous for Cham. He needs these Vipers. And the armies are missing each other completely. Oh god. Cham has to turn all the way back around. And just like that, a base will go down for free. Cham, he has to go for a run, but he has to make use of these ultras somehow. Thankfully for Cham, TriGGeR just gets a naked base. He didn't go further. He didn't get another one. Meanwhile, in come the ultras. Banelings rush in. Oh my god, the entire mineral line just explodes. Beautifully done there by Cham, taking that all out. Sure, he will lose some of these ultras, but Cham can afford it. Speaking of, TriGGeR trying to be a little bit sneaky with a mass recall, but the mothership does get revealed. Cham responds, he wants to shut it down, but in comes the recall. Another base goes down. Spores are being repositioned, but there are only 4 of them. Not that many, to be honest. And where is the rest of the army? It's lagging behind. Now is the time for TriGGeR. In come the feedbacks, in come the disruptor shots, but the Broodlords are now catching up. At the same time, another Zealot run by. There's nothing here. This base is going to go down. And TriGGeR doesn't need to commit to a fight. He can back off. Ooh, juicy storm. Couple of adults. 2 carriers go down, but everything at this base falls. 12 drones. To be fair, it's not like Cham needed those drones, but again, TriGGeR, he is fighting back. Can he fight the main army though? The creep spread is starting to finally show itself here for Cham. We have the spores moving forward, we've got our broodlords, we've got our corruptors. Like, this is honestly a great army here. A very well upgraded army. Soon to have 3-3. How does TriGGeR fight this? With control, with micro, that's how you do it. And we'll see if he has it as he's trying to push on forward. The High Templar are a little bit exposed. They have to be careful to avoid those broodlings. Oh my god, oh my god. The Void Race push on forward. Oh my god, the feedbacks were insane. But 1 power bomb gets off. 1 is not enough there. Same time, we've got another Lean Bane run by Tempest are on the way. They'll definitely help when it comes to zoning out those Vipers and Corruptors. Banelings crash in, deal some decent damage, and now the lanes clean up, but TriGGeR does respond. Oh, but now he can't protect his right-hand base. He's being pulled apart. The Broodlords come in, and this Nexus will fall. Oh god, I'm a little bit afraid that this army is a little bit exposed. Like, without the safety of these Broodlords, we'll see how this goes. As here we go, the Corruptors and the Vipers have returned back home. They're going for the carriers. The carriers are left alone. The carriers are all going down. The Tempest, the carriers, everything. TriGGeR, please, where are the Archons? The Archons, they needed to be here to zone out the Corruptors. They were off killing a base. A base that didn't matter. Beautifully done there by Cham. And meanwhile, we have a base trade. Cham is going to be able to take out everything in the main base of TriGGeR. Meanwhile, TriGGeR losing all those carriers. I think Cham has this. I think. Broodlords are coming back home. That's how he closes this out. TriGGeR has a pretty strong ground army, but Broodlords are greater than that. We'll see how this goes. The Void Race is still a threat, to be fair. This could still go either way. Both players have their advantages. As the tech is going down, in come the Broodlords. Another power bomb lands on one of the Void Rays. Ooh, another Void Ray gets picked off. Again, these Archons, like, the point of these Archons are to zone out the Corruptors. They were just not where they needed to be previously. The Storms land. Oh my god, but the High Templar. 1, 2, 3 High Templar get picked off. And we see a recall. Ay, ay, ay. Whatever's left behind gets taken out. At the same time, these Lings are actually being dealt with. Oh my god, the mass DT was left unchecked. Oh my god, he took out 2 bases. I has to be careful because there are spores here. Oh god, oh god, oh god. No, the DTs, Blink isn't done. The DTs will be cleaned up. Ay, ay, ay. Unfortunately, they were in a less than ideal place. And now we have to take stock. Where are we? TriGGeR has 4 bases. Cham has 1 mining base. Cham has no bank. Cham maxed out on or spent all his resources on Lings and Broodlords. His army is still decent and he does have Vipers, but he only has 2 as opposed to previously where he had like 6. Oh god. Cham, I felt like the base trade was going relatively well for him. But TriGGeR, his army is just superior in every way. Oh god, there's no detection! There's no detection for Cham! Oh god. So much damage just gets thrown out for free there. Cham has to back off. He does have a lair, thankfully. He did remake that. He does have mobile detection. He doesn't have pneumatized carapace. He doesn't have overlord speed. Ay, ay, ay. So the Overseer is going to have a hard time keeping up. The Mothership is kind of the MVP here. Where Cham just can't even really fight this army. Void Ray stands strong and... Wow, I thought that this was the game where Cham was going to have the comeback. I thought the comeback was real. Apparently not. Because TriGGeR, he's the one with the mining bases. He's the one with the economy, with the production. His main base survived somehow. I imagine it was DTs that actually defended at home. And now this is the last remaining army here for Cham. A lot of Broodlords, a lot of Corruptors, to be fair. And he's going for a bit of a run by with detection. He's going to pull away the attention of TriGGeR. Meanwhile, Cham is going in. Yo, can he get an abduct? Oh, oh. Oh my god, that was insane. The Mothership finally goes down, but the feedbacks were cracked, mate. And now in comes TriGGeR with his Void Rays, with his Prismatic Alignment. Cham, he's trying to fight back, but he cannot. Cham was going for the abduct on the Mothership, by the way, but with those feedbacks, everything changed. Ay, 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 and now TriGGeR, he's moving in for the kill. He's pushing into the final mining base here of Cham. Cham did get a couple more bases towards the south, but down goes his lair. Oh no, the Corruptors! And now Corruptors against Void Rays, you hate to see it. Oh god, now Cham, he's forced to rebuild his lair, forced to rebuild his spire. He's really struggling when it comes to his minerals. He's got plenty of gas, not so much minerals. He can't remake his army. These Zing run-bys are cute, but they're not really doing what they need to. But to be fair, Cham he needs a miracle. He needs to, if you recall, there was a moment here where the carriers were caught out. Like, Cham needs another moment like that, where maybe he can catch the Tempest carriers, maybe a couple of Void Rays for free, outside of range of those Archons. There is still a way for him. But I just realized something, and that is that Cham doesn't have any more Vipers. The Vipers that he lost in the previous fight were his final ones, and he doesn't have a Hive. He's trying to remake it. He realizes that he needs Vipers more than anything right now, and he has to rebuild the lair, rebuild the Infestation Pit, and then get the Hive. It's just so far away. Meanwhile, in come the Void Rays, taking out all these spores. There's no answer to the Void Rays, mate. The spores are doing what they can, but there's only so much that they can do. I see chat catching up. Yeah, they're referring to the DTs. Oh god. But I will say, yo, Cham, he's got a Hive on the way. Like, he's ever closer, one step closer to those Vipers. He is. Is he gonna have money for the Vipers? We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, okay? I guess one Void Ray will go down for free here, so a nice pick off here for Cham. He is in a really rough place, and oh my god, just look at the Armada, look at the Skytoss, look at the Void Rays with Flux Veins, with their upgrades. They're coming in, stutter stepping, styling. It's disgusting. No, the Hive! No, let it finish, please. Cham has been working so hard on it. Ay. In comes TriGGeR. Cham has to save this, and immediately it just evaporates. It just gets right-clicked, blink, and it's gone, mate. And just like that, so do the hopes and dreams, the chances of Cham in this game, in this series. GG gets called. And TriGGeR takes the series 3-0. Oh, that's the wrong button. But congratulations, TriGGeR, on taking the series. Not just the series, but let's have a look at that bracket. Mate, TriGGeR didn't drop a map this entire tournament. He 5-0'd Cham today. Damn. Now, I'm not saying that if Eric played against TriGGeR that Eric would win, but Eric does have a positive score against TriGGeR. Just saying, just throwing that out there. But unfortunately, Eric did give a walkover in the lower bracket. He wasn't here for the whole tournament. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. But yeah, what a strong showing from TriGGeR. I haven't seen TriGGeR go up against Cham in a long time, and at least when it comes to the late game, TriGGeR has the edge, 100%. That was very impressive play there. Cham was struggling there when it came to really getting to that late game, really like getting his late game army. Like, it just felt every single time that he got there, it felt so greedy, right? Like he would skip a bunch of steps and cut a bunch of corners and tech up incredibly fast, and it felt like that this game was the ideal scenario for him to pull that off. But even then it wasn't enough. Like, oh my god. To be fair, that's just the nature of Broodlords. Because they're so slow, there's like when it comes to their movement, they're so slow to respond. We saw that when the base trade started, the Broodlords were hitting the third base of TriGGeR, and then they turned around. They turned around and they went back home so that Cham could save his bases. And it takes like 2 minutes. It takes like 2 minutes for those Broodlords to come all the way back home. And once they did come back home, do you remember what happened? TriGGeR recalled. So those Broodlords did nothing. Sure, I guess they forced the recall, but TriGGeR was trapped in the main base of Cham anyway. There's a world out there where maybe because that base trade was started a little bit better for Cham, maybe those Broodlords could have kept going and maybe killed the main of TriGGeR. Maybe Cham could have committed a little bit harder to the base trade instead of coming back home. It's all ifs and buts, but it's possible. It's possible, I think. Regardless, congratulations, TriGGeR. Really well played, as he is our Battle of the Americas champion this week for Battle of the Americas number 67. Ooh, what a showing. Meanwhile, Cham, I hope you don't take that loss too hard. What I will say is that honestly, I don't think that was like Cham's full power. Maybe when it came to late game, but I do know that Cham has a lot of very quirky and interesting builds when it comes to ending the game earlier and forcing the game in a different direction. So I know he has a lot more to offer in that respect. And we're going to see more of Cham later on today. You're wondering why? Our next broadcast is in half an hour. I'm gonna quickly shower and get something to eat and get the broadcast ready. Our next cast is in 30 minutes. We are going to be live with ESL Open Cup Asia. So if you want to stick around and tune into some Korean StarCraft, some Koreans like returning Koreans, Hero, Classic, Gumiho, some regular Koreans like Parting, Trap, I want to say Zest, but I think Zest is taking a little bit of a break. Cure is a regular. Solar every now and then. Cham, because he's living in Korea. Special as well. So if you want to tune into some Korean StarCraft mixed in with some North Americans and Europeans that stay up late, then stay tuned because we have you. We got you in 30 minutes. The stream will go down, as again, I do have to get ready for the broadcast and set up the assets and set up the overlays, but we will be back shortly. Meanwhile, if you want to support this tournament and support TriGGeR, !Matcherino in the chat. We still have plenty of coupon codes left. We have 18, I believe. So yeah, again, all we ask, the minimum that we ask is for you to head on over to Matcherino and click that claim coupon button to add 50 cents to the prize pool. Massive shout out to Lord Loken for helping to support the tournament, and he actually boosted the prize pool by 35 USD. So thank you so much. Both Cham and TriGGeR will be getting a cut of that as top 2 get paid in Battle of the Americas. So it will be split up evenly. I think it's top 2. Not top 4. Oh, just double checking. Yep, top 2. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone who helped supported this tournament, who helped make it happen. Massive shout out to Smile for the raid. Because of that, I think he rated us with 80 viewers. So if you're from Smile stream or Fuego stream, consider hitting that follow button. We're live throughout the entire week with plenty of StarCraft. Battle of the Americas is a weekly tournament for North American and Latin American players. We are here casting every single week. ESL Open Cup Asia, a Korean tournament that we are casting every single week. We also cast Sentimiento Latino, Copa Hyperion, Grand Platypus Open, all these various different weeklies. On top of all of this, I am also live over at ESL_Australia Saturday nights. I was live last night with ANZ Champs Season 2. We are back for some Australian and New Zealand regional StarCraft. It's basically like GSL, but for the ANZ region. And it's a lot more fun. I highly recommend checking out the VODs. ANZ Champs is amazing. It's amazing. Maynard and Pig, they're on record saying that it's the most fun they've ever had on a broadcast. It's great what we've been able to do with ANZ Champs and with ESL Australia. So yeah, if you want to tune into that, then that's on Saturdays. That was in studio for Season 1. Season 2, because of lockdowns that we're having here in Australia, it is all from home. It's a home broadcast, so yeah, unfortunately we aren't going back to that ESL studio. The ESL studio is great, and we'll be there like next year, I imagine, but not this season. Feels bad, man. But with that, thank you everyone for watching. If you want to help support this tournament, if you want to help support this stream, I meant to say, consider subscribing on Twitch. Consider checking us out on Patreon. We have a bunch of rewards and a bunch of goals on Patreon to help grow our tournaments and grow our team. If you're wondering, we do have our pro team, and we do run and invest in our own tournaments for certain regions. So yeah, if you want to help support us, then check us out there. Again, we don't have any sponsors or anything like that. We just run everything off of the money that we make from Patreon and from Twitch. So yeah, thank you everyone for the support. We love you. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And we will be back in 30 minutes. I'll be casting with Yakuzaku. I'll actually have a co-caster, so I can rest my voice a little bit. I can't wait. So thank you for watching, everyone. we will see you next time. In 30 minutes. See you then. Ciao.